How are you doing? Why don't you welcome back the listeners? Welcome back our many friends who all live in Seattle.
I don't wanna.
Oh God, is it like one of those social obligations that you feel like, oh shit, I should do that really, shouldn't I?
I have so many of them. You know? I've got so
My whole
fucking
life
many of
is
them.
made up of that.
And
just doing
do you
those
ever-
things, isn't it?
This is an actual real question. Do you ever think about like faking your own death and like just starting again? Do you think? Do you think about that? Yeah, because I do.
Actually, yeah.
Like I do. Like if I had the money, the biggest thing is obviously the money, because like you'd you know, you have to have an identity to like live, I suppose. But if I had the money, I think I'd do it. I think I'd fake my own death.
Well, maybe that's what the thief that I've had to deal with recently was thinking.
Wow,
I'm getting good at these transitions, aren't I? I think I'm a pro at this now, actually. We have made approximately $3 that we can't withdraw based off this podcast. Yeah, so last night I discovered that my girlfriend's car, someone has tried to break into it. Like right outside our house.
Oh, cool.
Now, let me tell you, if that little bastard's listening, I will fucking kill you. Does it sound like I'm joking? The long awkward pause is seriousness right there. I have a gun.
He does have a gun. He owns a gun.
So fuck you. Honestly, I fucking hate criminals. Just in general. But, like, I can almost forgive, like, drugs in a certain way. You know? Or there's something that maybe you could just... But the idea that someone would happily take something of someone else's, just steal it, I fucking hate that. Especially when you can tell whoever's that is not particularly wealthy. It's not like they can just get another one. You know? I fucking hate that. Like, you know, if someone like mugs someone a night out, or if someone steals like a shitty car, they obviously ain't got money to do it. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So all that happened was we just went to bed as normal. We were actually walking the dog that we're dog sitting. So my parents have gone away with my sister for a week, and they needed someone to look after their dog. The dog that I've moved out to escape from, by the way. Hopefully Gold Koala knows something about car theft and how we can fucking sort this shit out. Hello to Gold Koala, and thanks for following.
You wouldn't steal a car.
You wouldn't steal a koala. So, yeah, we were actually walking this dog, and we'd got back, because you have to give it like a kind of like a nighttime walk. It's a breed of dog, you have to walk loads. And we walk it at around 10, I think. But the house alarm's on and everything, and it's all locked up and secure. And so it's quite a long walk. So we get back no earlier than 10:30. It's at least half an hour's worth of walking, maybe more. So it was close to 11 that we got back. But then kind of when we were talking to our neighbour who's got some cameras, because we were trying to get some CCTV footage, he said that it might have been around 11 that he heard something going off and kind of stuck his head out at the door and saw this kind of chap near his house who were weird and had like a one of them boots that you might wear for if you've broken your ankle or something on.
Oh.
And like a kind of fucked up fishing pole. Honestly, it sounds like a Scooby-Doo character. You know when they're like trying to determine who done it, and there's like all the weird people. Honestly, it sounded like that.
Yeah, I love this idea of you like in your fucking in your bedroom, like you've got one of those like detective board things up with all the like red string around everything, and it's just all a bunch of like different fucking Cluedo characters and like guess who, like just ridiculous portraits, and you're just scanning the wall like, I will find you.
We're just actually playing Guess Who to try and figure it out. So yeah, that must have been. He said it might have been a bit after 11, so we would have still been awake and watching. We were watching something. I can't remember what it was we were watching, but we were watching something after we'd got home from walking the dog. So we would have still been there, and they were just like, they must have just been, they were trying to pry open the door with something. So the like top corner of the door's all bent and fucked. Now, it's not to the point where it's any less secure at this point, and they didn't even manage to get far enough to do something that would set the car alarm off, because it was dark, and they can see the red blinking light that's showing the alarm's set. The alarm's gonna go off if you break into this car. So if that would have happened, we'd have just come and run out and fucking beat their ass. So they've got lucky, essentially, because otherwise I'm kicking the shit out of someone, because I'm not fucking having it. The problem we have with this, at least in our country, I don't know how it is other places, if we report that to police, even if we find them and tie them up, do the police's job, do a Spider-Man, you know? Tie him up, ring the police, look, I've caught a baddie for you. He was definitely breaking into my car and I can fully prove it. I could go to prison for that.
Yeah.
And it's insane. But so instead, what you're encouraged to do by having that system is, if you see someone committing a crime on your property, just fuck them up. Just fuck them up to within an inch of their life, kidnap them, dump them in the middle of nowhere, and then just don't report it. Because what are they going to do? If they report it, they're going to get done for the crime they were doing in the first place. So anyway, so
it's crazy how our country essentially incentivizes that with the rules that it's established. Yeah. It's like well, yeah, I'd rather. It's like it is probably just better. Like if a guy's breaking into my house and he's like gonna stab me, it's better for me to shoot the dude and like bury him somewhere.
Yeah, and just never report it.
My chances.
Yeah,
I'll just yeah.
At least in America, you can attack someone for trespassing.
Yeah.
But you can't in our country, apparently, from what I've discovered. But anyway, there's nothing bad's really happened to it. It's just kind of, if it had happened to my car, which is a nicer car, then I'd have been really fucking pissed, because...
Wait, sorry. It wasn't your car.
No, it was my girlfriend's car.
Oh,
and her car's
sorry,
a bit of a
I
shit
didn't
bucket.
hear that
It's not that great. But the thing is, I was thinking as well, why the fuck have they done this? There's nothing in that car, nothing. Like, there's literally might be about 20 pence worth of valuables in that car. Like, there might be like 2 pieces of gum and some wet wipes in it. Like, that's it, you know?
No, fair enough then, because it's like, I was thinking your car, because you have got an alright car, so I was thinking, well, you know, that makes a bit of sense. Guy tried to fucking, you know, like, take your ride, I suppose, but then it's like, well, he's really not thought this through, because he's not done a very good job at, like, trying to take your car, and then it's like, not your car, and it's...
It was ridiculous. The only thing I can think was she's got this, like, hands-free Bluetooth device. It basically means that you can tap a button on it and it's on your dashboard, and you can it automatically does your phone calls in loudspeaker. It's almost like a makeshift hands-free solution for your car. But it's like nothing. And if that's what they were trying to steal, they're fucking stupid, because it's not worth it. If they tried to sell that to like CEX or something, they'd literally get £1. They'd get like £1. So honestly, if they tried to pawn it, there's just no chance. So the only solution the only reason we can think that anyone would do anything like that would be for a joyride. So essentially, steal a car, hotwire it, and just ride it round and abandon it. But what the fuck?
Yeah. What? It doesn't even sound like he could fucking go for a joyride anyway, because it sounds like his leg don't work no good.
No, because this guy who I was describing, apparently there was someone else somewhere behind him that our neighbour couldn't see because of the bushes. And he just figured he must be on his phone or something. But I don't know. We don't know. We don't really know what's happened, but it's been reported to the police anyway, who won't do anything because there's nothing for them to go off to try and find them. Yeah. All there is out the car doors obviously been tried to be prized open, but with no fucking clue.
They fucking won anyway. If you would have called them over, and they would like an officer would have shown up. He would have pointed at like Jasmine, who's like dead on the floor with like her throat horrendously slit open. He was like, "Look, problem." They just look at it like, "You know who did it? No. Oh, well, look."
It's even worse than that. If they were still in the middle of doing it, right? Yeah. We call 2 policemen over. Look, they're stealing the car. They're like, Yeah, it might be their car. I don't really know. No, it's my car. Here's my driving license. Here's a picture of me buying it and my certificate that has my name on it. Like, it might not be real, that. I don't really know.
Please, they're stabbing my wife to death. Might be his wife.
So the moral of the story, kids, is fuck criminals. Thieves fucking make my skin crawl. Anyone who, like... Oh, honestly, I'm not going to go too hard on it because I could fucking rant for ages. But there's something so, like, deplorable about just nicking someone else's shit. Go out and get something. Don't steal someone else's. Don't detriment someone else because you want to do some bullshit. Do you know what's potentially even more annoying about it is? No one's gained anything from this scenario. Yeah. It's only shit for everyone. There's no... Like, they didn't get any pleasure out of it, the person trying to steal it. They didn't even get to joyride. The car's a bit damaged and fucked, so it's worse for me and Jasmine. And then the police have another report that they have to think about. So all it does is fuck things up for everyone. So just don't fucking do it! I'm not even a big fan of police or anything like that. But it's crap. Anyway... So that's that, Judd. Have you ever been at the mercy of a thief in any sort of way?
I can't talk about that story. I'll get in trouble. Next segment.
Could you use different names? Could you use different names?
No. I couldn't because I then ended up doing something illegal. So no, I can't talk about it.
Yeah, this is going to be something I'm going to force you to tell me after we've done this. Anyway. Speaking of stuff me and Judd are doing, next week, as I'm recording this video, next week on August 27th, it's a Saturday, we are going to be live streaming the KSI versus Swarms boxing fight card. Don't worry, Misfits and DAZN, we won't be showing any of it on screen. It's our reactions, but it's well worth having on. If you're planning on watching the fight, then have us on quiet in the background. It's as if we're watching with you. Fantastic. You've got more friends. You can pretend. You can call your mum up and be like, oh, listen, I've got all my friends around watching this. It'll be great. Or, if you can't afford it, then ours is free. And you can hear what's happening. You know? You get some reactions. Fantastic thing to do. So do that. Well worth doing that. Make sure you follow us on Twitch at Streams Badly to keep up with that. Or if you want to know when we're going live or news on the whole thing, tweet at Tweets Badly, that sort of thing. The podcast is on streaming platforms, Podcast Badly, and also the YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Streams Badly too. If you don't manage to catch us reacting to it live, the videos of it will be up on there. So, Judd's going to be coming round. We're going to be getting drunk, watching fights. It's going to be fantastic. But first, Judd... Not only do I want to tell you all the fights that are going to be on the card, most of which you won't know who they are, but that's fine. We're going to give some predictions, and also, I've got a really interesting piece of news on this shit for you. I'm hoping you haven't heard of it yet. You don't follow this stuff, so typically you don't hear it. Never. But I thought it's so fucking crazy you might have somehow heard of it. Anyway, we'll get to that last. Stick around, everyone. So, the first fight... I'm technically not going to mention that. I'll let you know about that later. So the first fight I'm going to tell you is Dean the Great versus Evil Hero. Do you know either of them?
No.
Neither do I. Cool. So what I want to do for each of these fights, though, whether we know them or not, is give a prediction of who we think will win and say who we want to win. Okay? So Dean the Great versus Evil Hero. Go, Judd. Who do you want to win and who do you think will win?
So we've got Evil Hero and what was his name?
Dean the Great.
Dean the Great. I don't know. Dean the Great sounds a bit too self-entitled. I feel like he feels like he deserves it. Whereas Evil Hero, now clearly that's a man with a conflicting conscience. So he's, maybe that guy.
Maybe he's a more relatable character.
Yeah, maybe he's got maybe not relatable, but more of an interesting character.
I'm sold on it. I want Evil Hero to win as well. I think that's right. So who do you think will win?
I don't know because I don't know who either of those people.
You got to give a prediction. We're going to look back on this and see who was most right.
Evil Hero will win.
Okay, I think Dean the Great will win.
Prevail.
I have seen a little bit of footage from all of these people in a video KSI did, but there's barely any footage for a lot of them, so take that as you will. Right, next up, we've got Salt Pappy versus Andy Warski.
I've heard of both of those people, but I don't know anything to do with either of them.
What do you think then? Who do you want to win?
I don't know.
You gotta say one. Pick one. Salt Pappy, Andy Warski.
Hold on. Wait, Andy, you've talked about him before, haven't you?
No, I've never heard of him.
You've not. I just typed in Salt Pappy and Salt and Pepper came up.
Salt Pappy is that guy on TikTok who like rubs his hand together and there's like salt in it, and he rubs it over his food.
Oh.
Do you remember?
Well, he's not gonna win. He's got too much sodium in his system. He's gonna no, the other guy's gonna win.
So you think Andy Warski will win? Do you want Andy Warski to win, or do you want big boy Salt Pappy to win?
I don't know. Let me have a look at Andy. Let me have a quick look at this guy. Let me judge his book by his cover. No, I fuck this guy. I want Salt. I want the other guy. I want Salt Pappy to win.
You want Salt Pappy to win, but you think Andy Warski will win?
No, I think Andy Warski will win. I think the sodium will actually. He looks like a meth addicted Hopper from Stranger Things.
And
Andy
Hopper looked
Warski.
pretty meth addicted when he was in that Russian camp.
Specifically in this one, though, this is a thumbnail for somebody's video. But doesn't he look like like a Hopper?
Yeah, Jude's just sent me an image that the video version will be able to see. So I think Salt Pappy will win, and I want him to win because he's a bit of a character. He doesn't speak normally in his videos, and he kind of did a voice reveal on his first win that he had. So he's boxed before Salt Pappy. He beat Halal Ham. Do you remember Halal Ham?
No.
From ages ago? He was on the KSI versus Logan Paul 1 card. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on then to Sam Hyde versus I Am Thompson.
Hey, actually, is Sam Hyde actually there?
Sam Hyde, yep.
Is Sam Hyde like actually Sam Hyde?
Do you know Sam Hyde? He's a weird dude, this guy, I think. Yeah.
Is it the Sam Hyde though, or is it a different Sam Hyde?
I don't know. I don't know which Sam Hyde you're talking about. Samuel Whitcomb Hyde is an American comedian, writer, performance artist, and actor. I'm pretty sure it's that
this
one.
Dude in it. It's this dude in it who I've just sent a picture of him to you.
I think so. I think that's the same guy as this that I'm going to send to you. Sorry, no one will be able to see these on the podcast, but
it's fine. This is just me. This is just.
I'm trying to get Judd to know who the fuck's fighting here.
Yeah. Oh my god! I didn't think anybody would let him near any sort of event. I didn't think he'd actually be allowed in anything.
So, do you want him to win then, if you know him?
Yeah,
Who is this guy,
so he's just Tom's a bigger fan. I got Tom, and like I got another friend called Reggie. They both love Sam Hyde.
This is the same Tom that I sent a picture to Judd of earlier about his Instagram, where he spelt thought as in having a thought inside your brain. Yeah. THAUGHT. I'm dyslexic, and even I think that's ridiculous.
Now, is that how we say tagged off? Is it fogged? Anyway, he's pretty funny. He's just weird. He's a weird guy. I think he's like a bit of a troll, like a fair bit if it's like a character, but then there's a good bit of it that actually is him there as well. He had a huge beef with iDubbbz, I think, which is why I find it weird that you don't sort of know a bit. I know you're not like a huge iDubbbz fan or anything, but you usually keep up with like drama and stuff, which is why I thought you'd know more about this guy. Because I've only seen like clips of him and stuff. But I do think he's really funny whenever I've seen him. So I want this guy to win.
Okay, well, I typically don't like those sorts of silly attitudes when it comes to boxing, so I'm a bit not sold on him. But this I Am Thompson guy don't seem to be particularly serious either. I guess I'd rather Sam Hyde win just because you know him, and that's kind of a stake in the battle, but I don't really care.
I don't know if that necessarily means he has a silly attitude towards boxing, though. Because
I know it doesn't, but I've got nothing else to go on, is the thing. So I know he's kind of a silly guy, so typically I'm like, do I want him around my box? You have to prove that you're not going to be silly when it comes to this.
For ages, he wanted to fight Idubbbz. He wanted to be like the guy that Idubbbz went against.
Well, he's massive, so that wouldn't make any sense. He's like 6'5" or something stupid. He's fucking
funny,
huge. Idubbbz is like 5'10" or something like that.
Versus, I gotta look this like drama up on my own time or something because I don't get it myself. He's funny though. I think he's funny.
Okay, well that's that. Anyway, so that'll probably be the first. Well, it won't be the first one of the night that we're interested in. I'll be more interested in Salt Pappy.
This was it. So essentially, what happened is Idubbbz wanted to make another content corp on Sam Hyde for because he's like done some stuff in the past which I think has maybe been controversial, but like I think Ian wanted to sort of force the content cop was the idea that was why Sam was pissed off, because unlike Rice Pirate, who is like this is a guy who's very clearly like being a douche, Sam Hyde is more like a controversial figure, and he acts crazy. He's like what was his fucking name? Who was on InfoWars? The fat guy. I can't remember his name. The fat guy from InfoWars, but not actually a terrible fucking human pile of shit.
I don't know what InfoWars is or anything. So
all right, fair enough. Don't matter. But so I think Sam Hyde, like he did stupid shit when Ian was coming over. Like, he hired this actress to pretend to be his girlfriend, who was supposed to be a parody of Ian's actual girlfriend. Right. So, like, she, like, shaved her head to, like, mimic Ian's girlfriend and everything and shit like that. There was like a whole thing between them. So
he sounds like a bit of a dick.
I think he is a bit of a dick, but I think Ian was also being a bit of a dick by trying to. He was like essentially from what I've heard, Ian was trying to like get content out of this guy to paint him in a certain way, and Sam was like, "Oh, okay, I see it, I get it. I'll fuck with you back."
Do you know what? This always happens. That you get these YouTubers who essentially make content on having a better moral stance than other YouTubers. So their content is basically calling other YouTubers out on their bullshit. And what always happens is that they've done just as much bullshit, and the next person who calls people out calls out them. Because like Leafy used to do it. Leafy used to call people out on the bullshit. In fact, first Keemstar did, then Leafy called out Keemstar. Then you have like Idubbbz calling out Leafy and Keemstar, and then like everyone gets called out.
Cycle.
Everyone gets cancelled. Well done, folks. Yeah. And it's kind of ridiculous that I can't imagine Idubbbz being a big one for cancel culture, but he seems to feed into it a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
So that's part of. I started finding Idubbbz just a bit annoying, to be honest. He just sounded like he just wanted to bitch about anything, and I think that's because he potentially just figured that's what his audience has gotten used to and enjoys. But anyway, forget about that. We're talking about these fights because the next fight is Deji versus Fousey. What we thinking on that, Judd? Who do we want to win?
Fousey will run through Deji like A-Train runs through a happy couple. Right. He will because it's Deji. It's not. I don't think Fousey Tube's anything special. It's Deji. So how it goes.
Me tell you,
how it is.
Both these guys suck. But weirdly, that's what makes it such an interesting fight, because they suck so similarly. I don't know who I want. I think personally, I'd just like Deji to finally get a win and shut up about the whole boxing thing. I just want him to get a win and be like, right, finally I did it, and then just stop. That'd be the best thing to happen, because Fousey could always fight again if he really wants. And I'm a bit sus of his body transformation, Fousey, because KSI's done an insane body transformation, but Fousey's looked absolutely shredded for a while, and he was kind of big before. So I'm thinking, maybe test that guy for some substances. So I think I want Deji to win, but he's just let us down so many times that it's got to be Fousey. I'm picking Fousey to win. It's oh god, it's ridiculous. So next, Judd, we've got King Kenny versus Faze Sensei. Do you know either of these guys?
So we've got Kenny,
King Kenny.
who now we know can't die because he just comes back the next episode. So that's a big thing. But also a Sensei is a master. So if anybody could kill Kenny, so we I don't know, that's a close one. I suppose the idea is not to kill him, it's just to do as much damage. So I'm going to go with Sensei's going to win this one.
Okay, I agree. I think
Kenny's
Sensei will win.
going to keep getting back up. He's going to keep getting back up, but he's not going to have the technique to beat the master, the Sensei.
Do you know what's weird? You've just gone off like stereotypes from the names, but that's probably what's going to happen, I think. So yeah, I think I want Faze Sensei to win as well, because King Kenny, like, he's good. He's naturally quite good at this, but he's not really been doing it that long, and he's trying to fight people who he shouldn't be at their level yet. It's like he thinks he's better than he is. So I feel like he needs to be put down a peg, fight someone like a Deji, who's not so good, and kind of, take it one step at a time if he actually wants to, build up a presence and do well in this YouTube boxing thing. And Faze Sensei is, if anything, is a step up from his last opponent. So, and I think his last opponent was always going to be too much for him. So I think King Kenny needs kind of knocking down. It's a bit of a shame because he's part of the Beta Squad, which is kind of like the second biggest YouTube group in the UK to the Sidemen. And, they're quite beloved. And we like to root for the UK YouTube scene in these things. But in this scenario, I just think, I think Sensei will win. And he's a good guy. He's nice and everything. Not that Kenny's not. Kenny's quite funny and a good dude, but that's just what I see happening anyway. So, the next fight is Faze Temper, who was King Kenny's last opponent, versus Blueface. Oh, wait, no. Blueface dropped out. So not Blueface. Faze Temper versus Slim. Now, Slim has fought Fousey before and beaten him. Slim's gone on a bit of a tear in YouTube boxing already. Faze Temper beat King Kenny already, so he's got a decent win under his belt. What we thinking, Judd?
He killed Kenny.
So he's got to win, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't know.
So Faze Temper's American, and Slim is like from somewhere in one of the Arabian countries. He's got ancestry. I don't know which one it is.
Then. Slim.
You think Slim will win?
Those Arabians. I'm telling you, dude. Those Arabians will get you.
God, is that a good thing to say or a bad thing? I don't know.
No, I say that in the highest esteem. Like that, it's like when it's like my great granddad when he was in World War II and he fought alongside like it's like Sherpas and stuff, and he was saying like they're insane, they're crazy, like the Germans hate them because they're scared shitless of them. So I like my great granddad was saying that as a compliment. He loved them. So
well, Slim's tall and he's got the confidence. I do think he could. I'm gonna give the edge to Slim. I think Temper's good. Temper's good though.
I'm glad you asked my opinion because I'm obviously so well versed in this.
I think. I don't know. I think I potentially would prefer Temper to win because Slim seems to. I don't know. He's a bit too cocky for his own good. He don't understand his place in all of this. Like he's called out KSI and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? They might be on a similar level fight-wise, but audience-wise, they're not even close. So that's not how this works, you know? So I think but you know what? If either guy wins, I wouldn't mind too much. I would slightly prefer Temper, but I think just slightly Slim. I don't know. There's some good-ass fights on this, I'm telling you. Deji versus Fousey, Kenny versus Sensei, and Temper versus Slim. Those are all, like, really ones to keep your eye on, because they're going to be really interesting. But it's time we get to the big boy, Judd. Do you remember who KSI is fighting?
He's fighting Swarm of Locusts.
Judd likes to call swarms Swarm of Locust. And who else is he fighting?
Who else is he fighting? I don't know.
Cos Judd, that's the big reveal. He's fighting 2 people on the same night.
What the fuck?
You're actually shocked, aren't you?
I think that's great.
Not only is he fighting Swarm of Locusts, for the rumor is that he's going to fight Swarm of Locusts. That's what we're going to call him every time. For the first fight of the night, and then he's got all the other ones to kind of recover a bit. And then for the last fight, he's fighting a guy. I can't remember his name. He's essentially a Bulgarian pro boxer. Now, just take that in. A professional boxer he's fighting. Now,
I think I do think that's really cool though. As like a sort of look, right? Okay, I know you're all upset about like the main thing couldn't happen, so I'm just gonna straight up fight 2 dudes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think that's like, you know what? Big thumbs up.
Do you know what? He said it himself in his recent video. He's turned it from a rare KSI L into a common KSI W. Because, honestly, he was supposed to be fighting an opponent that people were like, you should beat this guy, but it'll be fun to watch. There's a reason to watch it. Then that guy pulled out. Maybe there was some Jake Paul meddling. Now KSI's been like, fuck, he's got me there. What can I do? This'll show him. Fuck, man. Like, and then Jake Paul's tweeting shit like, oh, well, George Foreman fought 4 people in one night once, and it were just shit. They were obviously meant to lose against him. And it's like, just, you know, just give props where props is due. Not only is KSI fighting 2 people in one night, he's fighting a professional boxer before Jake Paul is. Now, let me tell you, this person who is fighting, let me just see if I can find out his name. What's he called? Who is it? What's the guy called? One sec. I'm just looking on Twitter. What's the guy called? KSI fight. What's his name? Okay, let's see if the Mirror can tell me what his name is.
The Mirror.
Come on, the Mirror. You can do this. Ivan Nikolov, that's it.
By the way, the Mirror is a newspaper in the UK. It's not just got like some sort of magical mirror that it refers to for guide.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is KSI fighting?
Your princess shall be Fiona.
So this guy, he is, how old is he? He's 43, so he's old in terms of boxing. He normally fights at. I'm gonna just. I can't pronounce it, but I'm gonna put his birth name in the Discord chat for Judd to try and read, because you can't. He's a bunch of like Bulgarian, Russian, whatever characters.
Yeah.
So he's 43. What's his weight class normally? He's, you know how boxers have like a nickname. So KSI is the Nightmare. His is Pit Fighter.
I like that.
So he normally fights at middleweight boxing.
By the way, that guy's name is Ivan Nikolov. Nikolov. His name is Ivan Nikolov, but you just say Nikolov.
Ivan Nikolov. Yeah, I said that already.
Yeah.
So he normally fights at 160 pounds. KSI is going to weigh minimum 175 pounds. So there's a weight difference. What's his height? So he's 5'8.5". KSI is 5'10", 5'11". So, you know, he's 43. He's having to fight a guy who's obviously naturally bigger than him. Plus, his record is 3 wins, 16 losses, 9 by knockout, and 2 draws. So, look, everyone knows this guy is not a top dog. no one expected him to be a top dog, okay? But it doesn't matter. He's a professional boxer who's got 21 professional fights under his belt. That's a lot of experience whether you've won or lost, okay? Plus, it's the second guy he's fighting in the night! Are you kidding me? It doesn't matter. He could be fighting just some bum from the front row. Who cares? It's 2 fights in one night. You gotta give props where props due. Not only is it entertaining, it's also difficult, and it's just, I'm so happy. It's great. It's gonna be fantastic. So there you go, Judd. That's the big reveal. So let's talk about it. KSI versus Swarm of Locusts. What are we thinking? Who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? The first fight of the night.
The KSI's gonna win them all. He's decided actually that he's gonna just fight in every fight. That's the final twist at the end. He's just gonna go, guys.
It's gonna be like Mortal Kombat. You know where you have to go up the ladder.
Yeah.
It's gonna fight like Rising or whatever it is at the end. What is it called?
I actually, guys, this whole thing is just to see who can protect Earthrealm.
It's actually the World Martial Arts Tournament in Dragon Ball. It's actually that. It's going to take part there. And actually, the last guy that KSI is fighting is Goku. So that's going to be interesting.
Not Mr. Satan or whatever his fucking name was.
No, not Mr. Satan.
Not Mr. Satan.
At this point, we could probably get him on the card, but
fuck it, KSI will fight. He'll fight anybody. He's going to fight everyone.
So, look, obviously we want KSI to win, definitely. And do I think he'll beat Swarms? Yes, almost certainly. Do I think he'll beat this Ivan Drago or whatever he's called, Ivan Nikolov? Well, that's a bit more up in the air because I don't think Swarms is going to be as easy as people think. It's not actually that easy to knock someone out, even if you're good at it. So I don't know, maybe KSI thinks he's literally just going to walk up to Swarms and punch him in the head and knock him out with one punch. But it could go for 5 rounds. So he could be worn out by the end of it, even if he's dominating and just the only one throwing punches. So it's going to actually be really hard for him to fight this boxer. I think he'll get past Swarms, no problem, but it's how much damage and how much effort it takes to do that, and kind of just how much the experience plays into the pro boxer he has to fight afterwards. Do I think he will do it? I think KSI is one of those people. It's a bit like Hugh Judd, but at a better scale. Things just work out for the dude all the time. So, you know what? I think he will do it by some stupid miracle. And I also want him to as well. Thoughts?
He's gonna win every single fight, and then he's gonna start fighting the audience. He's just gonna start punching his way into the audience. People, you can hear because the camera's facing fixed at the ring. You see him put his hands up, and then you see him get over the rope and walk into the audience, and you can just hear these cheers slowly turn into screams as KSI wades through the fucking.
The camera angle just falls onto the floor, and you see the cameraman knocked out in front of it.
The camera's cracked, and you can just see KSI wading his way.
So there you go. Are you more excited now? Does that not hype you up a bit for this?
Yeah.
Because that's going to be incredible.
I'm really surprised that fucking any institute allowed Sam Hyde to participate.
You're more surprised that Sam Hyde's allowed to participate than KSI's allowed to fight 9 people at once.
It's just fucking weird. It's just it almost you know how we were talking about the whole obviously KSI and Logan and everybody do this in part for the money, but it's not. We believe it's not all for the money.
Yeah.
This Sam Hyde being allowed in sort of reaffirms that a bit for me, because I feel like anyone who was in fact that was iDubbbz's entire reason why he wouldn't let him into the fight, because obviously there was that you said that they wouldn't even be allowed to fight, but I do remember Sam saying he'd fight anyone in like, you know, just if he was in iDubbbz's thing. But iDubbbz was like, I don't want you on it because it's to raise money for charity.
Yeah.
And you know, you're a controversial figure, which I guess sort of makes sense because it's for charity. But what I mean is, if KSI really, like, the main thing was the money, I don't think he would have let Sam Hyde in. So the fact that he is letting Sam in sort of reaffirms that it's not all about the money, Spider-Man.
I have to say, I don't think KSI's had much involvement with who's fighting, because when he did a video on his predictions, he didn't have a clue who that was, to be honest. So I don't know. Maybe they've not done background checks on these people, but when it's not one for charity, it don't matter.
I was just gonna say though that makes a lot more sense. They didn't do fucking background checks. He just went, all right, how many subscribers you got? All right, that's enough. Yeah, you can box. we have you like fight 2 or 3.
Okay, sign this contract. Okay, you've signed your life to us. If you do anything wrong, you owe us $1 billion. It's one of those sorts of things. But look, right, this just accelerates. If KSI can pull this off, it just accelerates him to next year, the big end game of YouTube boxing. I'm calling it that. It is the Jake Paul versus KSI fight. Now, honestly, I swear to fucking God, if that happens and KSI wins, I'm gonna go insane. Like, that would be my favorite win ever. You should have seen what it was like when he beat Logan Paul the second time. It was in America, but I got up to watch it and I'd bought it and I put it on the telly. And I was like silently jumping around the living room because my family was all in bed, so I didn't want to disturb them. So I was silently jumping around the living room and having a right old time. But thing is, I've got my own house this time, Judd. We don't need to give a shit. So, honest, if that happened, we have to watch it. We have to. You'd have to come around here and we'd have to watch it. Because it's like the biggest thing. It's promised.
Sure.
It's promised now.
I guess. Fine.
So that's that. That's YouTube boxing. I've got a thing that I heard, Judd, that I thought you might be interested in. Something a bit different. Have you ever heard of the Hoatzin bird?
What?
Here's some facts about this bird.
Okay.
I'm trying to find an interesting one. Wait, it's this weird bird. Okay. It can reach... The Hoatzin can reach 25 inches in length and 1.78 pounds of weight. The fuck? This is not what I heard about this bird. That's so boring. I heard this dude talking about this fucking bird, and there were so many like interesting things about it. It's called like the stink bird or something.
The stank bird, the goddamn stinky bird.
Why does it exist?
Stinky bird. The Hoatzin. The Hoatzin stinky bird.
It has like a bit, like a small, you know, like a gullet. Like, you know, pelicans have a little thing they can store stuff in.
Yeah.
Well, it has one of those that it uses as a fermentation chamber.
It kind of, in this one picture I'm looking at where it's flying, it kind of looks like a chubby phoenix. You know what I mean? You know what like a phoenix looks like in the old. It looks like that, but a bit smaller, and it's got like a bit of a beer belly. It's got a bit of a gut on it.
So, it's a reptilian bird. The herbivores.
What? A reptilian bird?
Yeah. I don't know what that means. I should have looked this up better before I fucking tried to call this out, but I swear to God, look up the Hoatzin bird. They're weird. Anyway, moving on from that. Fuck me, that fell flat on its fucking face, didn't it? Jesus Christ. What you been up to, Judd? You been doing anything?
Nothing. So, you know how essentially the past 3 weeks when you've asked me what I've been doing, and my response was, well, I've got a big grand tournament in Leeds coming up for Warhammer, and I'm making sure my models are painted for that. So, I didn't go to it.
Why?
Because,
you fucked something up, didn't you?
So no, I didn't fuck anything up. So essentially, the it was a few things that just led up to me not going. The number one was the main reason I wanted to go is because this army that I'm very nearly to being done is my dream army. Like it's what I always wanted since I first got into the hobby, and I wanted the big sort of thing that I have with that to be the open it up with a grand tournament. I couldn't take that army because I said this last week. I've been ordering some fancy like 3D printed bases for them to go on that I paint up and make them look nice. They didn't show up. They've still not shown up. So I couldn't get them on their fancy bases and get them all fully painted.
Get some from somewhere else, like real quick?
No, I could if I really wanted to. All I'd have to do for a model, I'll show Jake, but obviously I'll describe it for people who can't see. All I'd need to do to make it qualify is paint a little bit of something on this base where this guy stood on it, and put a wash on top, and even if it's just grey and it has a wash on top, because that could be the surface of a moon, or something. But it would be like, that's legal. I say legal, you can bring it in the tournament, but I just want it to be done right. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like
an honor thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like an honor thing. Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I just feel like I just didn't do it. It's just I have an idea for what I want it to be, and I wouldn't have done it, so I didn't want to do it. But anyway, that wouldn't have mattered on its own, because I was like, fine, whatever. I've already bought the ticket. I'll just use that really nice painted army that like Matt painted for me, because I still like playing that army, so whatever. Then I knew it'd be long, and I knew it was over I knew it was over 2 days. I knew it was a Saturday and a Sunday thing. So I thought, because usually the tournament that I go to in town near me is just a little one, and that happens from 5. But I thought, oh, well, there's 2 days of this, so it'll probably be like 9 in the morning while 6 or 6:30 for 2 days. It wasn't. I had a look at it. It was actually 9 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night for the first day. For the second day, it was 9 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. So,
but did you have to attend all of that though?
I think you only had to be there until 11 if you were like in the top sort of brackets, because that was like them having the last game or so to like see who placed, like, first, second and third, and who got trophies and stuff. So I don't think you actually had to be there until 11, but I know you had to be there like definitely until 8. So again, that wouldn't have been a problem either. It's like, okay, I can't use the army I wanted to use, whatever, it's fine. Now it's okay, it's actually I'm there for a lot longer than I thought I would be, but whatever, I'm playing my nerd game, so I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be happy. The final thing, the straw that broke the camel's back, the straw that broke my back, was that it was too damn hot. It was simply too hot.
I underestimated that, because the sweaty people,
Yeah. I thought, because it was the Friday. It was like 7 o'clock or something. I was in this chair. I'd literally just melted into a paste. I was like some sort of sludge creature. Just like I had no bones. They'd melted in my flesh sack. So I'm like there in this fucking terrible heat, and I look over at the time. It's like 7 o'clock, and I'm thinking, tomorrow it's going to be even hotter than this. And I'm still there for another hour.
They might have had air conditioning in there, though.
I know they probably did. They probably did. But it was like the thing with me when it's that hot is all I want to do is just sleep. Like I cannot. I was in bed both days asleep for 8, the Saturday and the Sunday, because right. I can't just do it. I can't do it when it's that hot. I just fucking pass out. So yeah, I didn't end up going. I was like, can't use the thing I wanted to use. It's going to be super duper long, and I'm going to be in a room with 500 sweaty nerds in one of the hottest recorded days in Britain.
Or
No.
you could have just described all that by saying, "I'm a massive pussy."
Yeah.
Oh god, have you watched any movies or anything lately?
We watched Whiplash. We finally
watched
Yeah.
Whiplash. Thank
Yeah,
God
we
for
did.
that. What did you think?
We all loved it. We thought it was great.
What would you rate it out of 100?
I'd give it like I think I'd give it like an 82.
Now, bear in mind, this might affect its standings on our ranking spreadsheet, because it's a contender for greatest of all time.
I know. I understand why you personally liked it so much, and I really enjoyed it. But I can't put it up there with what I consider one of the greats. So,
Well,
but
I gave it a 91.
I'd say to quote a line from that movie, I'd say it is great. It's not one of the greats. So yeah,
right.
I'd give it an 82.
That's fair for you to say. For me, it's one of the greats. 80. I don't think that's an unfair score, but it has brought its overall score down from a 91 to an 89. So unfortunately for Whiplash, it has been knocked down a little peg, but not unfairly. I don't think it's still really high up there.
I understand why you'd consider. I understand why anybody would consider that movie one of the greats, though. But I thought it was great too. I just 82 great, not 91 great. Yeah. So there you go.
So I've watched some other stuff. Did I talk to you about Dead Pixels last time? I think I did, didn't I?
You did. I'm sure you bring Dead Pixels.
It's because I forget what I've talked to you about. Yeah. But I watched Bird Box recently as well.
Oh, did you actually? What did you think of Bird Box?
I thought it was not as good as I thought it was going to be because it came out at the same sort of time as what's that one where you can't make sound? I forget its name again.
Oh, is it literally
A Quiet Place?
Yeah, there.
So it came out. It was one of those occurrences where like movies of similar sort of themes come out at the same time. So it happened as well with like Gravity and Interstellar. It happens reasonably often. So I watched the one where you have to be quiet rather than the one where you can't look. And the quiet one's better than the not look one. It was all right though. I gave it 57 out of 100. Because it was all right, but I just thought there was it had that big problem in anything that's like horror-ish, where people were making the stupidest fucking decisions. People were doing shit that's like, what the fuck are they doing? Like I know that they have to kind of make characters in movies do things like that a little bit to make the story be interesting. It's because you can kind of suspend your disbelief by thinking, well, if they all acted like normal people all the time, why would I watch this movie? Why would it be a story worth telling? So they're obviously not going to act like normal people. But it's like just such the stupidest shit. Like there's a bit where this bad guy's trying to push open a door. Some people are pushing him back, trying to stop it happening. And one of the good guys runs at the guy trying to push open the door to tackle him back through the door and gets himself killed by doing it. He could have just fucking kicked him. Also, the good guys had a shotgun, so like, come on! There was too many instances like that kind of it drew me out of it. It weren't right. But other than that, it was kind of an intriguing concept. I know my girlfriend said to me that it was based on a book. So spoilers for Bird Box. At the end of it, they kind of end up seeking sanctuary in this school for the blind, because obviously blind people can't see the whatever it is to cause a problem. But in the book, if they want to live there, they have to have their eyes cut out. Because of course, if people with sight see it and go mental and start killing everyone in the death place, in the blind place, sorry, I mean, if the death place do, I mean, then that's a massive problem. So I kind of like, that'd be, like, I can totally see why they'd want them to do that. And also, that would make it way more intriguing and end on a much more interesting note. So, and it could potentially take it into more movies in the future, but they just didn't do that. It was all a happy ending. So, I don't know. 57, but it was kind of intriguing other than that.
Right, well.
Have you seen it?
Good. Yeah, I did. I was the one who said that you should watch it.
Oh, well, what did you score it then? Because it's not on here.
Did I score it? What the fuck? I mean, I'd only give it like a 67. I didn't think it was anything like special.
Do you agree with my points on that though?
Yeah, no, there were definitely a lot of movies have bits like that though, don't they? Where you just sort of go, what the fuck? Why would you do it that way? And that the reason they do it that way. It's for plot convenience. So,
and it's normally in horror films as well, isn't it? But I don't know. They need to sort of figure this shit out because it doesn't work right. The other thing I've seen recently is you might have seen it on Netflix advertised, Day Shift. Seen that?
I've not seen that advertised. No.
It's Jamie Foxx, the actor Jamie Foxx.
Yes.
It's him on the front and he's like got guns and stuff. You look at it and you think, this will be an alright action with Jamie Foxx in. It's actually about vampires. He's kind of like a modern-day vampire hunter deal, which is kind of an interesting concept until Snoop Dogg turns up. And then I was like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Right. Does it go, yo, the way we gotta deal with these demons is to smoke the weed? Is that what he says?
No, because obviously they can't have him smoking weed the whole time on a Netflix movie, so they have him drinking coffee the whole time.
Yeah.
that made the score take a big hit for me, not gonna lie. Like, other than that, there's not much to dislike about it. But that was enough.
That iconic thing that Snoop Dogg starts drinking coffee, Max.
He was also dressed as a cowboy, but we'll forget about that. It was just kind of dumb. I mean, it was meant to be a bit funny. I think it was meant to be kind of like an action comedy. Like, it weren't horror-ish in any way. It was quite violent and gruesome. And for some reason, they were obsessed with the idea of, like, people bending the wrong way. Do you know what I mean by that? You know how you could do is it called a pike when you dive? Are you picturing the right thing for me here, do you think?
You
can bend over and touch your toes, can't you? You bend over forwards, touch your toes. Well, we can't. But some people can do that. But the movie seemed obsessed with bodies bending the same, but the opposite way, as a way of like vampires being hurt. It must have happened like 12 times. Like, and yeah, I know it's like a gruesome, visceral thing to see, but like, there's other gruesome stuff. You don't have to use the same kind of violence a lot. But I didn't mind that too much. It was alright. 59. Snoop Dogg shouldn't have been in it. I would have rated it a lot higher if Snoop Dogg wasn't in it. Do you know what? That was a problem with Bird Box for me as well. When I saw Machine Gun Kelly, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I totally forgot he was in that fucking movie, I'd like...
Stop putting people like that in things.
Why is
Stop putting famous people in shit for the sake of it. It pisses me off so much.
Unless it's the only person who I know who does that, like who likes doing that, for specifically for a bit, is Smiling Friends.
Yeah.
Fucking. Because Zach, the guy who one of the two guys that made it, the one the one I fucking love, he was like, oh yeah, the guy in the wall is voiced by Finn Wolfhard from Stranger Things, and it's like you never know it was Finn Wolfhard because it's like a fucking random grey man, but the joke is that it's Finn Wolfhard, but like. He says he finds it fucking annoying when like the Simpsons will just be like, whoa, it's our new neighbor, fucking I don't know,
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
It's
Kevin Hart. It's going to be someone like that, family-friendly, famous.
And it's like, but the bit is like, he says he talks about like South Park is sort of inspiration for it, where they like got George Clooney on the show for South Park, and they got him to bark as a dog for the entire episode. He did the voice of the dog, and it was like, yeah, we got George Clooney on the show, and he like it's because I also think they were like advertising. It's like, yeah, like George Clooney's going to be in the next episode, and like people are like, whoa, George Clooney's going to be in the show.
It's almost like Vin Diesel playing Groot.
Yeah, it's like, oh, who did George Clooney voice? It's like, oh, the dog. So, I like it when it's like that, like when you wouldn't know, but you know, when the thing of it is, wow, guys, look, you know, then it's yeah.
You've got to you can't. I've said it so many times. Stop using people who you can't. The rule of thumb is you can't use an actor that's bigger than the character they're playing. So, for example, when like I don't know, I can't come up with an example now. What's going on here? When Tom Holland played Spider-Man for the first time, he'd been Billy Elliot, which he was fairly big in, and he'd been in the movie The Impossible, which he'd got a lot of good praise for. He weren't massively famous, he weren't a household name, and he weren't bigger than the character Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man's an easy one because I don't think any actor is bigger than Spider-Man, so you could basically get anyone to play them. But, for example, Johnny Depp is more famous than the character of Grindelwald. And Johnny Depp plays Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like, I remember being in the fucking cinema watching that, and everybody in the cinema, I don't think anybody went, "Whoa, you know," nobody went, "Whoa, it's Johnny Depp," but there was a collective. It's not Johnny Depp.
And I guarantee you, no one went, "Oh, it's Grindelwald." They went, "Oh, it's Johnny
Depp." Exactly. Nobody went, "Oh, it's Grindelwald." Everybody went, "Oh, it's Johnny Depp."
Yeah. So you can't have an actor who's bigger than the character play that character. Another example would be Vanya on Umbrella Academy. Elliot Page is bigger, more famous than that character, but the guy who plays Luther, he's not more famous than Luther, you know? It's really simple. And to the point where I've seen some rumours that the guy who plays Gustavo in Breaking Bad is going to be the next Professor X. And that's so borderline for me. And I can't, I don't really like that actor in anything else. He's only good for that character so far as I'm concerned. Even in The Boys, he was just distracting to me. I'd have rather it been someone else. Because he plays similar sorts of vibes of characters as well. So it was just like, oh, it's Gus. You know?
Yeah, I know. The thing is as well, the character of Edgar, at least in the comics, I feel like it's less that he's a ruthless businessman, and he is a ruthless businessman, but I always read it as him being less of this, I'm a Gustavo Fring-esque character and I am smart, and even though you are Homelander, I have the wits and the power. It was less that, and he was more like, God, I'm so fucking sick of babysitting these fucking superpowered babies. I hate this. And it's, if you look at like pictures of Edgar in the comics, he just looks really like fed up. He doesn't look like I'm confident in charge. He's like, fuck me, another day.
It feels like what I felt from Saul Goodman a bit more.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's casting's difficult with that. Can you think of any more like that? I bet if I scroll up this list, there'll be some that are just annoying. What are we thinking? Like, okay, Hellboy. When Hopper played Hellboy.
Yeah.
He's bigger than the character of Hellboy. Hellboy's not massively famous.
Yeah, he's no.
When you've got fucking, I'm scrolling up, Enola Holmes. So fucking what's her face? Millie Bobby Brown plays Enola Holmes. She's bigger than Enola Holmes.
I feel like that's better than the Hopper one, because I feel like Hopper and Hellboy are almost on the same thing. But I think
I'll say that.
Yeah, I feel like the Enola Holmes one is definitely a case of that, because she's 11 now, isn't she? Come on now. I feel like I feel like all of the kids from Stranger Things now are that kid from Stranger Things, and it's horrible that that's the case, because you know, as an actor you want to try different roles, but it's also one of those things. It's a phenomenon into Stranger Things. It's just like you are him from Stranger Things. So
well. Anyway, I also there's another one that I discovered that was a bit like that, because I watched that Inside Job show that you told me about. I
What did you
liked
think
that,
of
actually. I liked it more than your Brickleberries and your Paradise PD, actually. It was quite cool, to the point where I'll definitely watch a second season. I gave it 73 because it was kind of like... It genuinely... I know loads of adult animated comedies now are like this, but it was like Rick and Morty light, let's be honest. It was that sort of thing. And the mushroom guy on it, do you know who voices that?
It's I know him from stuff, but like
he's the guy who helps out Joyce in Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
Is he called Morris or Murray or something? I don't know. Murray, that's it.
Murray, yeah.
So and I was hearing him speak, and I'm like, I've heard this guy before. Is it the same guy who plays Sonic? No, it's not that guy, because their voices are kind of similar. But I looked it up, and yeah, it's the same guy.
Yeah,
that was kind of a bit distracting whenever I heard his voice.
But that was, you looked that up though. You didn't know that was the guy. He did like...
Yeah, that's not as bad. That's definitely not as bad. But if it was a live action thing, then it'd be bad. It'd be bad enough, I think. Just about. I mean, he's not exactly massively famous, but yeah. I'm trying to think of some more of them that's really annoying. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's enough anyway. We've got other shit to do, so it's the end of this podcast. Thanks for listening, and make sure you tune in August 27th to the Streams Badly Twitch channel to watch us react to the KSI Misfits boxing fight card. I can't say KSI versus someone anymore, because he's fighting two people, so it's not an easy thing to describe. But, yeah. Any final words, Judd?
Apex Legends is now ready to play.